Today's episode, we discuss the dual-edged sword of the coach's ego. It can put you in the prime time and take your fledgling school to new heights, and can also maybe cost your United States basketball team a gold medal in the future. Also, funny videos I want to react to, and one you got to see exactly why you will never, ever, ever see me do a birthday shout-out. Not this guy. Not this one. Check it out. Hey, what's up, everyone? Another episode of Tricky Guy Sports. It's your host, Brent Bilski, a.k.a. Double B. Going to get into coaches today. USA and the world, welcome to my golden tyrant problem. That's just a small one, but definitely a big one after the Lithuania loss. I'll discuss that. And also, of course, prime time is taking over the world here. And I just want to focus today on coaches because it's just what comes with the job. When it comes to a coach, you know, they got to have the ego, the cojones, the presence to say, everyone in here needs to listen to me. And with almost out fail, every one of them has a fatal flaw, and it usually revolves around that same ego.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
It's just what it is, man. When it comes to coaches, they just have an ego that is usually their fatal flaw, their mistake, and it somehow is going to bite them in the ass. There were two stories this week that I thought were very interesting that it involved that category. Like I said, I'm going to talk about my boy Kerr and Team USA basketball in just a little bit. But let's just kick things off with the guy who has taken college sports by storm, NCAA football, old primetime himself, Deion Sanders, and his huge win versus TCU. I mean, let's face it, Deion is taking over the world right now. Deion Sanders, this guy, and I got to watch the copyright violations, but prime time, baby. Prime time. This is a guy who took a little, Jackson State and made a success, and now he's gone his way to Colorado and he's just taking this with him. This prime time swag that he's always had. Look at Deion go. Deion Sanders, man. Yeah. Deion Sanders got it done in his first game with everyone watching and with everyone and a lot of people wanting him to fail. Let's face it. Anyone who goes first through the wall gets a little bloody. Deion Sanders is definitely leading this new age that is going to be, I think, the future. The transfer portals, the NIL deals. Colorado football was garbage. Let's not mix words here. Colorado football had been an embarrassing pile of garbage for a very, very long time. And then Deion Sanders, after taking little Jackson State and making them a success for 3 years, 27-6, after they had not had a winning season in over 6 years, and then transferred over to Colorado, who was 1-11 last season. They have been nothing but nonsense, and with just a single offseason, he made huge strides and a push in this whole scenario here. The fact is they have 86 new faces on Colorado's football team. Only 10 scholarship players returned. You just never have seen anything like this. Transfer portal had been used by Chip Kelly and, a few others to get some key pieces here and there, but no one is completely in one offseason just came out and said, damn it, I'm just bringing everything with me. I'm bringing my Louis. He flat-ass said when he first got the job in Colorado, and I think this speech bears repeating as we're going to talk about his huge victory over TCU and how they've taken college football by storm here, and possibly a little flaw that I do see that could be a problem, but it ain't right now. But, when Deion showed up to the school, first meeting with the players, he's told them, you guys that are here, you 1-11 losing team, go somewhere else because I'm bringing my team with me. I'm bringing my Louis with me. I think a lot of people now know this speech. Let me go ahead. Yeah, this is him talking to the Colorado players for the first time.
We got a few positions already taken care of because I'm bringing my luggage with me. And it's Louis. Okay. It ain't going to be no more of the mess that these wonderful fans, the student body, and some of your parents have put up with for probably 2 decades now. I'm coming.
Yeah.
And when I get here, it's going to be change.
And talk about change.
So I want y'all to get ready.
Yeah. I'll just go ahead and shut it off here. Talk about change. This guy took a 1-11 team just last season that lost by an average of 29 points, and within the very first freaking game upsets number 17 TCU, who just, by the way, was in the college football Final Four playoff last year and was the Cinderella story last year with returning players. Everyone had a lot of things going for TCU here. Little Colorado comes out and kicks their ass in the first game, and they were 21-point underdogs. Now, in just 1 week, they go from 21-point underdogs to TCU to now being already ranked. It just came out, ESPN rankings, number 22 in the country, and everyone coming up with a bullet. And Deion is not mixing words. He is taking receipts. He's very proud of himself and is doing Deion-like things. Look, I can say a lot of good things about Deion and a lot of negative, but I think if you really need to know Deion Sanders, Hall of Fame college football player, Super Bowl champion in the NFL, considered one of the greatest cornerbacks to ever live, not to mention punt returner, wide receiver, played both sides of the ball, played baseball, batted like 500 in the World Series. The dude is one of the greatest athletes we've ever seen, and also is one of the greatest showboats and loudmouths that we've ever seen. I mean, the fact is, you could sum up Deion Sanders, I remember this, in one play. If I needed to sum up what makes Deion Deion in just one play, long time ago, he was punt returning for the 49ers, and I'm trying to remember who against. It doesn't really matter. He makes this like 60-yard, unbelievable punt return for a touchdown. It's just athleticism and instinct and talent and just IQ that we'd never seen, and he just breaks his way off, gets a 60-yard punt return touchdown, and in the end zone, as he's celebrating, doing his Deion high steps, he pulled his hamstring. If that doesn't sum up Deion Sanders in just one little quick snippet, 60-yard touchdown, something like we've never seen before, and in the end zone, hurts himself high-stepping, doing the touchdown celebration, that's Deion for you, man. So, I mean, look, they come out, they bust TCU in the mouth, they take the world by storm, 86 new faces, only 10 scholarships, player return, brings his son with them, brings a lot of his Jackson State crew with him that everyone said wasn't going to be able to be good enough, it's not going to be successful, you can't take these little school kids and put them over here, and it's just shoving it in everyone's face, and after just 1 week is already taking receipts. Deion's already got all the receipts from all the reporters who were doubting him, and the first press conference afterwards was talking that talk, man. In case you missed this part, dude, Coach Deion was ready to let them know we are here and we're not effing around.
All right. What's up, boss? You believe now? You hold on. Oh, no. Do you believe that? Huh? Oh, no. I read through that bull junk you wrote down. I read through that. I sifted through all that. Yeah. Oh, no. Come on. Do you believe? Mm-hmm. You don't believe. You just answered it. You don't believe. Next question.
Deion being Deion, man. Deion being Deion. But you got to give him his credit. Like I said, now they're already ranked in the top 25. Colorado is not used to being in the top 25. Tickets are selling out. The school's going nuts. There's Deion fever. I mean, Deion is really, in just 1 week, after a lot of hype and a lot of expectation, has not just exceeded expectation, he has kicked down the doors to where I already guarantee you're going to see a lot more small schools look at this transfer portal stuff, and even bringing in kids from smaller places like Jackson State and others, and wondering, like, maybe the narrative is true that the only difference between those schools and the big schools is the lines, is the O-lines, the defensive lines, and that the position players, the corners, wide receivers, quarterbacks can all succeed at the level that we're at, and maybe we should pay them more attention. Because the Louis he brought with him, by the way, one of his kids, Shadur Sanders, is that dude. Shadur Sanders came out week 1 and already with all the pressure on him. I mean, you got to think too. You got your dad talking that talk. You had some good time at Jackson State, and you're a good player. You're going against the top 25 ranked team who was in the Final Four last year. What are you going to do? All Shadur did was set Colorado all-time history, throwing for 510 passing yards and 4 touchdowns, 4 different receivers over 100 yards. Yeah, his kid is it, man. His kid is it. In case you missed it, I got some highlights here for you, and I'll go ahead and run these here from the game.
Operating out of the gun. Sanders looking wide open. Touchdown.
And I'm going to go ahead and talk over it a little bit here, as I'll just let you see it. But, I mean, son of a pro, man. I have lectured y'all on this, and I will say it again as you watch these highlights. As like I said, 510 passing yards. He was the first Buffalo ever to eclipse 500 passing yards. 38 of 47, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and 4 different 100-yard receivers. Another Colorado first. He is an absolute stud, and a lot of it, again, sons of pros. If you're recruiting, if you're drafting, I will always go with the kid who's the son of a pro athlete. I'm telling you, it makes a difference. They just understand what it takes. They're around it from an early age. They seem to have a maturity and understanding of what it actually requires to get and succeed at each level. Nothing really seems to faze them. I mean, I can go down the list of legends and I will show you sons of pros. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, Kobe Bryant, Ken Griffey Jr., Barry Bonds. I mean, you can go into like the Matthews and Bosa's and McCaffreys. I mean, you can just look around and just kids that come from an upbringing of understanding and being around from an early age, not just the access, of course, to the knowledge and the training and things that most kids don't get, but just being able to handle the bright lights. Deion Sanders didn't just handle the bright lights. In the first week, came out and announced his presence with authority, Bull Durham style, and did it not just, this isn't like, oh, it's Deion's kid, he must be just a dual threat kid. Absolutely not. Look at the arm on this kid. Look at the accuracy. Look at his ability to not, try to pigeonhole just a Travis Hunter or someone and just, lock down to one receiver a la like Manziel, Mike Evans. This guy has got touch. He's got instinct. He's got everything you need to be a star already in NCAA football this year, and I think is actually eligible for draft status next season. So we'll see if he might just be kind of a one and done. But, I mean, this kid has got it, man. This kid is legit. And so is Colorado now. Colorado is no joke with everyone that they brought in. Deion brought his Louis. He was not messing with you. And, of course, he has the ability to scramble here, but look at the arm. And, again, the touch. This kid is nice, man. This kid is nice. And by the way, he's not alone. The other thing that Deion was able to do, besides bring the swag and the belief and everything else, is the recruits that he was able to, get around him includes another kid, Travis Hunter. I mean, they might have, if it wasn't for like the Florida State kid and Caleb Williams, they might have some Heisman contenders on their hands here because they got another kid in Travis Hunter, and this kid's playing both sides of the ball, a la a Deion Sanders. And if anyone knows how to use a kid like that, it would be old Neon Deion. And this kid Travis is no joke either. He was the first Colorado Buffalo ever to have not just an interception, but over 100 yards receiving in the same game. And I mean, this kid's a real deal too, who came, by the way, from Jackson State, could have gone to Florida State, but went specifically and has been following Deion because he just loves Coach Sanders that much. But this was the other side of the coin. Besides, obviously Coach Sanders and his kid, this kid Travis Hunter is also put the NCAA on notice that I'm also a legit two-way threat, and I'm a bad boy, man.
Third down, Morris.
That's a bad boy.
Wow! Travis Hunter! Unbelievable!
Are you kidding me right now? That was wide open from the booth. 100 times out of 100, I see that action from up here. That's a touchdown.
Yeah, and then, by the way, that was just the highlight interception, and as you're going to see here, he's also a stud wide receiver. Look at the ability to go up one-on-one and pull that puppy down. Travis Hunter, again, the first FBS player to have more than 100 receiving yards and interception in the same game since 2002. He played 129 snaps while he was doing this, had 119 receiving yards on 16 targets, 11 receptions. On the defensive side, the 3 tackles, the interception, and a pass breakup. I mean, look, man, this is legit, man. These guys are no joke. Deion is no joke. Colorado is no joke. They have put the NCAA on notice with their attitude, with their swag, with their just coming in saying, we are here. What the hell are you going to do about it? And if you don't like it, you can stick it up here and shove it down there because I'm prime time, and this is just how I've gotten down since I was an athlete. I mean, they just did the 30 for 30 just a couple of years ago, in case you missed it, where Deion was going from the World Series to the Falcons games, going from Braves to the Falcons, I believe it was at the time, or wherever he was playing. But NFL and World Series in like the same day or same week, and everyone trying to tell him he couldn't do it. And again, he said, you can stick it up here and shove it down there because I'm prime time and I do what I want, a la Eric Cartman.
Whatever. I do what I want.
I mean, he just doesn't give an F. And so it's a lot of fun. It's already taken over, the first week of football. There's been other stories. Clemson looking like they might be falling down. Even Alabama with their quarterback situation looking a little bit shaky. We still don't know what's going on there. Ohio State, that first game had a little bit of offensive issues. And there's, all these big schools and all these things we're used to seeing. Did I mention Clemson going down? That was a big one. I think I did already repeat that. But, I mean, there's these big name, big school stories, and nobody cares right now. No one gives a crap. All we want to talk about is what's going on in Colorado. This once upon a time losing every single season program, this nothing 1-11 team last year, lost by an average of 29 points, and already Deion has changed the narrative and has done it in his Deion way, coming in, letting everybody know, I'm about it and I'm about this life, man. I'm prime time. Prime time. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Deion don't take no mess, man. Players love him, and I mean, there's a lot of positives when you think about what does Coach Deion Sanders bring that is different, and what you're seeing is different from other coaches. Before I get into, there is something, though. There's a little bit of a warning here I want y'all to pay attention to. The fact is, I mean, as you can see, he leads, he inspires, he gets these kids to buy into a system. I mean, obviously that's huge, but the recruiting that comes with that charisma, that comes with that swag, that you're not going to see from a Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney, Chip Kelly, or these other names. They're going to come in and be these boring, let's face it, white kind of, we just like to play hard-nosed football, and I think you could be successful in our program. Or God forbid they even try to do something worse, which is try to, talk street to kind of compete with Deion. Well, homeboy, if you come here and you play a dope corner spot, I mean, you can make the bag in the NFL and go ahead and get your paper, kid. You know what I mean? Like, they're just white as can be.
It's all right, because it's all right.
In walks this guy with proven success and now coaching success and showing that he can get you the national attention and things that you need. It's going to be a huge, this is only the beginning of the recruiting nightmare. If you're some of these other crackers out there, these cracker coaches, no offense, but I can say that.
Because I'm white. Because he's white. Because he is white. Look at him.
I mean, good luck going against Deion now that he's in a Power 5 school and in a Big 12 that's a little bit rocky right now. You could start seeing them already first couple years winning Big 12 championships and becoming maybe the new Oklahoma or someone that kind of pops up and is now, going to have a dominant run under his regime here. So you got that. Again, the fact is kids are going to respect the Deion Sanders because he's been there. As I mentioned, college football Hall of Famer, Super Bowl winner, knows what it's like to have the bright lights, is not afraid of it. I mean, he's going to have the knowledge, he has the experience, which is going to equal the respect. Obviously, you got to have success. I don't think I need to go ahead and say that most coaches, to get these kids' attention, you got to have the success. But he doesn't just have it as an athlete. He also has it now as a coach already. So, I mean, that's only adding to his resume. But, yes, you got to be successful to be a good coach. But he communicates, he motivates, he does a good job, apparently, from everything I've heard, of being able to kind of oscillate the line of being, the cool guy, the uncle, the guy that's their friend that understands them, and then is able to transition into, look, man, I'm not your buddy, I'm not your dad, I'm your coach, and I expect the best of you. So, there's a lot of things that all point to and signs point to that Deion Sanders is really the real deal. This is not just a quick flare-up, that he's going to be around for a while. So after all that praise, I do need to say, every coach has a fatal flaw. Deion Sanders is no different than a lot of these other people out there and a lot of these coaches. He has a fatal flaw, and it revolves around his ego. As great as it is that he has fun with the team, as great as he is that he has the cojones and the huevos necessary in order to break through and turn Colorado into a new, maybe powerhouse very quickly and almost overnight, because he was able to do things that other coaches were afraid maybe to do. The fact is that brazen attitude also comes with a brazen ego that can be very dangerous. And Colorado and Colorado fans, I would be very careful. As good as this guy has been and as great as Deion was, he also did have a habit of making himself bigger than his team, as much as maybe he doesn't always mean to, or maybe he's older and now matured. But you're already starting to see that Deion is going ahead, and it's not like he's one of these humble coaches that's going to hide and say, we just do our job and I'd like to make sure the kids get the credit. Deion's going to want his credit. Deion's going to want his flowers. Deion's going to want y'all to say, look at what he's doing. Look at the difference he's making. Deion, Deion, Deion. And the fact is, it's supposed to be just the coach. It's not supposed to be Deion University. It's not supposed to be just Deion and Shedeur and his kid. There's Travis Hunter out there. You got other good players. It's a whole program. And the bullseye, not to mention, the bullseye that comes with a loudmouth like Deion Sanders is only going to get that avalanche, that snowball is rolling down that mountain, man. This guy is not going to be quiet, especially if they keep winning early on. And I'm telling you, as fun as it is, if you don't think the louder he gets and the more that he sticks it in everyone's eye, that not just coaches but other players are going to start suddenly circling Colorado. TCU was caught napping. TCU was caught sleeping. No other school right now, and especially if he keeps going, nah, look at me, talk about me, look how great we are. He's not creeping up on anyone anymore. Shedeur's not creeping up on anyone. Travis Hunter, his 129 snaps playing both way, isn't creeping up on anyone anymore. And if you come in completely non-humble and talking that shit, it's fine, and we love it. We love it. But go ahead and know the expectations and know the, bullseye on your back that's going to come with that brazen attitude. So I'm just warning you guys out there in Colorado, as much as I love Deion, as much as I love what they're doing, as much as I am in full support of the transfer portal, NIL deals, and all the things that he's done to reshape this program. I love the swag. I love the attitude. It's very Miami the U-ish, and like we're going to stick it to the, the conventional wisdom here and do things our way, and we're going to win our way, and then we're going to change football for the better. I love all of that. But in the end, Deion did not always stay on the same team, and Deion did not always get along, and Deion did become distractions in his past life as an athlete. It is not crazy to wonder if that attitude is going to prevail as a coach. And there's already one thing that he said. And again, this is going to be a little bit prickly for some of you. And I don't want to get too far into it because I want to talk about the world problem with my boy Steve Kerr. But there was something he said. So as he was ranting on about how great he was and how great their win was, and it all was, I'm not taking anything away from that. There was one thing that he brought up that I kind of was like, he has a point, but he's already starting on his soapboxes, and he's already starting to kind of move past it's just football here. So this was Deion. One more thing he said after the big TCU upset. Again, 21-point underdogs. It was a great win. Announced their presence with authority. And then he went out and he said the following.
We do things that have never been done, and that makes people uncomfortable. When you see a confident black man sitting up here talking his talk, walking his walk, coaching 75% African Americans in the locker room, that's kind of threatening. Oh, they don't like that. But guess what? We're going to consistently do what we do because I'm here and ain't going nowhere. And I'm about to get comfortable in a minute.
That's what comes with him. That's what comes with Deion, man. Does he have a point? Absolutely. I mean, the fact is no black coach is still, which is just fascinating to me, no black coach has still been able to lead a team to an NCAA championship in football.
What does that do? Does that blow your mind?
And, I mean, a lot of it's just complete lack of opportunity. There's only 15 black coaches in the FBS level, only 8 in the Power 5, now including Deion Sanders. And it's just, it really is crazy when you do, like he said, consider that the players are 75% black, that there hasn't been a black head coach that has been given either the position or had the opportunity, or for whatever reason in 2023 that has not won a national championship yet. It is, it's pretty crazy.
Damn,
I'm not going to sit there and lie, but I'm just saying it's 1 week in, and he's already starting to not just, thumb his nose at the, I'm going to do, 86 new players. I'm only going to return 10. I'm going to use the transfer portal in a way that's never been done before. I'm going to talk about other coaches. I'm going to say a bunch of different things. I'm going to bring my kid in. I'm going to do a lot of stuff here. Now he's already starting to creep into, oh, well, you don't like it now, not just because I'm brazen, not just because I do things different. It's because I'm a black coach, and I'm coaching black players. And what are you going to think about that, you racist out there? da-da-da-da-da-da. And, dude, I mean, look, obviously.
Because he's white. Because he is white. Look at him, man. What you want?
I'm going to have probably my suburban white opinion a little bit on this, but just to quickly expunge on this and then move on. I agree that it's remarkable that there aren't more coaches, and that I've seen even like Charlie Strong at the University of Texas, who I thought got a raw deal. I do think still that black coaches in NCAA football, specifically with all the boosters and everyone else, still kind of struggle with being able to be given a program and the faith and the longevity that a lot of white coaches who have sucked and finally found some success, Harbaugh, Michigan, are given. However, is it really that people have a problem with Deion simply because he's a black man doing this and because he has black players? I mean, let's go ahead and ignore the second part of that, because if you're shocked right now that most of the college football is led and ran and excelled at by black athletes, then you got a bigger problem, because you just came out of a coma from like 1962. I mean, I don't think anyone now blinks an eye at like, oh man, most football teams black. That's crazy. The idea that it's a black coach doing it specifically, I still think is also a little bit too black and white, pun intended. I think that's a little too cut and dry. I think Deion's attitude and his brazenness has a lot to do with everything. Maybe add on that extra level that he's a black man doing it, but it's just simply that he's a black man and he's coaching black players. I mean, I could also make arguments that if anything, you still have the old white crowd, but the new generation is almost, the pendulum is swung so far to just this overcorrection attempt to be so progressive that I just don't know if it's really what he's making it out to be, especially at the college level and for most people, under the age of 55. I just saw a video the other day, which was the dumbest thing I'd ever heard. There was a teacher training where a lady was trying to explain to her teachers that, like, when a young kid in their school says ax instead of ask and speaks in that Ebonic of like, if I ask you a question, it's unfair to correct them because you're going against their culture and their language, as if somehow, if you grow up black, you automatically have to speak English in an improper fashion. I just like, that's a lot, man.
And that's about the dumbest thing I heard any fool say ever.
So, I mean, if anything, I think the world is trying its best to swing so far that direction that I think there's even been, especially with a younger crowd. I don't really know if that's really, it's not like people haven't seen black coaches win and be successful at a lot of levels. It's not like we haven't seen black athletes, go ahead and dominate college football for a very long time. I don't know if I agree with the entire narrative of what he is saying there. And I don't want to go completely Todd Bowles, because it is, only 15 black head coaches at the FBS level and only, 8 in the Power 5 is alarming. So I don't want to go full Todd Bowles here, but do you remember this when it was Bowles and Tomlin were going against each other? And again, the white media just had to, prove a point that they're just we really like the fact that you're both black. Like, we're not just fans of the game. We're we're fans of the fact that you guys are black and you're in charge and we love it and we need you to comment on it because, it's just got to be the big thing in the room to discuss rather than the football game. And Coach Bowles, I remember this, and a lot of people still play it, had a different response.
Mike Tomlin are two of the few black head coaches in the league. I wonder what your relationship is like with them and your thoughts on Steve Wilks joining that fold.
I have a very good relationship with Tomlin. We don't look at what color we are when we coach against each other. We just know each other. I have a lot of very good white friends that coach in this league as well, and I don't think it's a big deal as far as us coaching against each other. I think it's normal. Wilks got an opportunity to do a good job. Hopefully he does it. And we coach ball. We don't look at color.
But you also understand that representation matters too, right? And that when young aspiring coaches or even football players, they see you guys, they see someone that looks like them, maybe grew up like them, that has to mean something.
Well, when you say you see you guys and look like them and grow up like them, means that we're oddballs to begin with. And I think the minute you guys stop making a big deal about it, everybody.
And yeah, this whole, it's not that it's completely what he's trying to say it is, but Yeah, even that white savior attitude of like needing to correct him on why he's not taking it serious enough. Some little white lady reporter who just has to save the world one, problem at a time from her pen is like, well, I mean, doesn't it make a difference that da-da-da-da? And he, as a black head coach, is like, no, I don't agree with your opinion. And she seems almost frustrated that he's not completely on her page. So there's... I even delved off into this longer than I wanted to. The point being is just that when Deion said what he said, and I'll play it one more time here, I don't really disagree, even with what he is trying to say overall when he said what he said about, y'all having a problem with him.
We do things that have never been done, and that makes people uncomfortable. When you see a confident black man sitting up here talking his talk, walking his walk, coaching 75% African Americans in the locker room, that's kind of threatening. Oh, they don't like that. But guess what? We're going to consistently do what we do because I'm here and they ain't going nowhere. And I'm about to get comfortable in a minute. So again, issue aside of anything as far as the political or racial part of what he said, I will just warn that I think the bigger, thing to look at here as they are still getting started and they are trying to reform a program that has not been successful in a long time, that Deion is not going to shut up. He's going to make the bullseye very big on Colorado. This was just the first week. TCU and maybe college all in general did not expect Colorado to do what they did. All that's gone now. Everyone now knows who you are. You're the talk of the town. You're the one that a lot of other coaches and a lot of other teams are going to be upset about because you're getting the media attention, you're getting all the discussion, and now suddenly what they considered was a who cares, just whatever game is now going to be the big circle and stuff like this and being out there and trying to thorn and stab at the media and get their attention and get them, riled up and talking about you is only going to make the bullseye bigger. So whether you agree or disagree with what Deion's saying is a completely different conversation as far as exactly the point or the gist of the overall, diatribe he just went on. I think the bigger issue and the bigger picture is Deion's ego has gotten in his way as an athlete. It's gotten in his way in other parts of his life and might get in his way here because he is not going to make this just about Colorado. He's going to make it about him. He's going to make it about his movement, about what he's doing, and he's going to make the bullseye very, very, very big. All right? Good. Let's go ahead and move on into another coach, as like I said, fatal flaws are something I want to discuss, and an overall issue that needs to kind of be addressed as finally the world can now be welcome to my once Golden State by myself. Unless you're a Warriors fan, you didn't know problem. Welcome to Steve Kerr and the stupidity that comes with him sometimes. As it was just, they were able to beat Italy today, but in case you missed it, because it's FIBA and there's all sorts of football going on, I need to discuss this because I talked about this ad frickin' nauseum that Steve Kerr's obsession with small ball is going to bite them in the ass, and sure enough, it did it, and I told you so, and I've said it for years.
You're psychic. You can predict the future.
Like I said, some coaches just have a fatal flaw, man, and this is his. Some coaches just can't ever get out of their own way. They would rather lose their way than win by adjusting. I think it's what makes Greg Popovich one of the greatest coaches that's ever lived. I don't really like his attitude. He gets on my nerves a lot, but the fact is Greg Popovich has always been able to adjust to his rosters, to be able to adjust his philosophies and strategies. Steve Kerr is going to cling to his way, and he's going to lose his way, and now it's a world problem. Now it's a USA problem. It's no longer just a Golden State Warrior problem, as we were once again, it's not the first time, upset by Lithuania 110-104. Now, this is just FIBA World Cup, but it is indicative of an issue that has gone on with Steve, and it's been his biggest thorn, and it's been something that has gone on for years and years, and I've bitched and moaned about it over and over. Small ball. He is obsessed. And again, I got to watch copyright issues here, but god dang it, short ball has no reason. Short ball has no reason. In the NBA anymore, there is absolutely zero, and I mean absolutely zero reason for you to go small, and we just found it out as we just got embarrassed by Lithuania at the World Cup. This is Steve's thing. He's going to stick with it. They just, hands and tiny little feet running around against these big 7-foot Lithuanians, and we just blew it again, and this is an issue that's going to keep prevailing until somebody gets a hold of him or just maybe stops letting him go ahead, because he's going to die on this hill. He will not be the first coach to die on a hill, but he's going to die on this hill. So Team USA, fans of basketball and everything else, and anyone watching the World Games and going to be watching the Olympics next year, just so you know, he's not going to stop doing this. I guarantee you. Steve Kerr will ride small ball until you get rid of him or until he dies. He has lived on this. He's going to roll with it. It's just the way that he is. I mean, it's not the first basketball coach I've seen do it, where it's just they would rather lose their way than win by adjusting. I remember watching, Utah Jazz in the 96 finals. John Stockton only playing 30-something minutes a game. Even in Game 6 elimination game, John Stockton only played 33 minutes because, his rotations. That's just the way it is. Jerry Sloan was going to die on his hill of this is when you sub out, this is when you sub in. I'm not going to give any one of my players extended minutes. We're going to go by the way that our thing is set up, pre-planned, and it doesn't matter that, we don't need to rest John Stockton if we don't win tonight. The season's over. Maybe we should give him an extended 10, 12 minutes tonight, because if we don't win, the whole thing is done. Stockton played 33 minutes just like he was supposed to in Jerry Sloan's book. Mike D'Antoni, I watched him blow the 7 seconds or less Suns, a brilliant idea that did eventually go into other teams and make a wave. But the fact is, Mike D'Antoni also never won because he had to play Boris Diaw at center, because he had to put PJ Tucker at center in Houston. The small ball, creator and really the first one that really brought it out of the gate, lost multiple jobs because he would not adjust to the times. You look at the Winning Time LA Lakers show right now on HBO. It's covering how Paul Westhead, his system, his Guru of Go system, was bigger than Magic. It was bigger than Kareem. And damn it, I am going to either go this way, and I don't care who it pisses off. I don't care that Magic's asking for trades back in 1981. I don't care that we just had a first-round upset after winning the title to the Houston Rockets. I'm going to ride or die with my system until the very end. It got his ass fired. You look at the NFL, Chip Kelly and his system, Bill Belichick going off about, I don't really need Tom Brady. Although he never said it out loud, we all know he's always had a thorn in his side about needing to prove that he is still great without Tom. How did that go when Tom was hoisting up a championship trophy out there in Tampa, and now he's stuck with Mac Jones and whoever else? Bobby Knight, all the way back in college, had his title and then decided that he was bigger than the team, kind of where Deion starting to scare me a little bit with that ego, and was his way or highway, and he lost. Steve Kerr is right along with these people. And so when I read what I read about Team USA's loss to Lithuania, as I'll show you some highlights here as well, it's not the first time we lost to them, but it's just embarrassing. And now the entire world is noticing what I've noticed for a very long time. Why did he go small? It was clearly the reason that we lost, and this is actually a problem. And I am just smiling from ear to ear in some ways because I have screamed this. If you have watched any podcast or listened to me ever, I have screamed this for a while. It is a stupid idea, and he will not let it go.
You're psychic. You can predict the future.
I mean, this one's honestly going to fire me up here. So let me go ahead and show, again, we lost 110-104 to Lithuania the other day. And yes, they had hot shooting. And yes, Anthony Edwards did play well.
Throws it down.
35 points for Edwards.
Lithuania, the men from the Baltics. Anthony Edwards for three. He's got 25 points.
He's really started to establish himself as somebody great here. We had some other guys do well, but now as you watch, like I said, you can just look at the difference in size. Besides this, I mean, this is just at the end of the game a miracle shot that a lot of people have pointed to, and I mean that's crazy. It's a crazy shot. But I mean, Lithuania was making mincemeat of them all night, hitting 3-pointers and everything else. And as I'm reading the write-up about the game, it is so just, indicative of everything that he's about. Everything that he's done, he will not listen. He does not care. He is going to do this until the cows come home because that's just the way he thinks you're supposed to play basketball. So when I read it, I'm just laughing. It says Team USA loses to Lithuania, and Sunday night, another win as they were bullying them to a 110-104 victory, where their strategy and weaknesses were exploited as their terrific game plan from Lithuania exploited the Americans' lack of size. The thing then goes on to continue to expound on this issue as Lithuania themselves, with 3'6'9" guys or above, they say in this article, quote, no team can give USA size issues like Lithuania. The Americans know they're small and they have game plans and strategies for it, but it's not so much a choice. It's just what they have to do because that's how their team is constructed. But at the end of the day, if you're small in basketball, you're small. The Lithuanians are and have been for many years quite big. They start 3 players 6'9" and taller, bring several more off the bench, and the rebound situation was bloody as Lithuania won the battle, and they used battle in quotes, 43-27 with 18 offensive rebounds, every single one being another paper cut for the United States. Jaren Jackson, the only center that they have on the United States roster, has a terrible fouling habit, but even with his fouling issues, when he was in the game, they were plus 16. When he was out of the game, the only center that they had, they were minus 22. He, by himself, made a, 32-point difference, 42 points. Am I doing the math right on there? Or, 38-point difference, plus 16 to minus 22 when their one center wasn't in the game, as they continued to talk about Kerr tried to use different lineups and other things, and the antidote is the small ball with the speed and the depth. But in this case, quote, Lithuania just had too much depth and more size, and it, in the end, was the reason they lost the game. So what is Kerr going to do about this going forward? Not a goddamn thing. I promise you. This guy, I have been dealing with this as a Warriors fan from the time he showed up, and Draymond Green and the death lineups. I watched him lose to the Lakers last year, keeping Kevin Looney on the bench, putting Draymond to guard AD all night, having no 7-footers to back him down. Yes, they won the year before, but even then, there are series, if you go back and look, when he finally, just out of absolute desperation, would go to Bielincha or whatever, any 6'11 guy or above he had on his roster, it helped them out. But at no point did he want to address all season, as I and other Warriors fans were screaming, no one on your roster is 6'10 or above. Did you know the Golden State Warriors did not have a single player on their roster that was over 6'9"? They were the only team in the NBA that way. They had the shortest height by average in the entire NBA, and it didn't matter when they got killed in the boards by LA. It didn't matter all season that they were 29th in rebounds and top of the league in fouls because they just couldn't protect the rim. It didn't matter that they were one of the worst at giving up offensive rebounds all season. He did nothing to change it. And even before Bob Myers retired, and they got rid of also the only 7-footer they had, James Wiseman, when they asked him in free agency at the end, do you want to bring in another free agent center? He found, and it's hard to find it, but you can find this quote. Bob Myers said out loud, basically, what's the point of bringing in a 7-footer if he's not going to be utilized or played? Basically saying, look, man, I could bring in 10 7-footers. He ain't going to play them. King Kerr is not going to play them. Steve Kerr does not like it. He does not agree with it, and he's going to die on the hill the same way D'Antoni died on this hill, the same way Sloan died because he wouldn't extend Stockton's minutes, the same way Westhead got fired from a championship team because he had to run his system, the same way Belichick looks bad now because he just thought he could win without Brady, the same way Chip Kelly got his ass kicked out of Philadelphia. Coaches will do this over and over and over, and King Steve here is no different in the ego. Don't believe this sweet little face or the little things and the cute stuff that he says post-game or whatever else. Steve Kerr has got 1 and 2 right here for you if you think he should play a center. He's not going to do it. He's not about it. He does not care that they just lost to Lithuania, and that even the entire article, the 3 pages that I was reading, was solely based on, man, there was a glaring reason why we lost this game. It's because we're too damn small. And they even tried to throw in a sentence here of like, oh, well, what do what could they do then? What could, the best centers are foreign. Play anyone. Just in case you ask me that question, well, who instead then? Well, who instead, if we have such a, size issue with Team USA, who could we play? Because all the great centers are from other countries. Any goddamn 7-footer that we have. I mean, I can give you Brooke Lopez, Miles Turner, Jarrett Allen. Anthony Davis has his injury issues. We do have a kid named Walker Kessler on that bench, and just like James Wiseman and other big centers that Golden State had for years, he just doesn't play him. I mean, it is not a lack. Do not let him try to fool you, and do not let Jerry Colangelo and other USA basketball people try to fool you and tell you that they do not have the ability to play a 7-footer. They are refusing to do so. They think that's, the speed and depth is going to, overdo and be able to overpower overpower the size and the strength that some of these other big countries we're going to compete against in the Olympics have, and they're not going to do a damn thing about it. Just know that. Just know that. You can think what you want about it. You can agree with his side of the story and think that that's actually a good idea. But don't tell me that they just, this is a surprise or this is an issue that they didn't, obviously think about and discuss. They know that they're small. They want to be small. And it's just so god dang frustrating to watch it. And it just reminds me of everything I had to watch in Golden State.
Frustrating.
Small ball is dumb.
Frustrating. It's frustrating.
It's a dumb idea. It's
frustrating.
It's dumb in execution. I mean, I used to play AAU basketball. I was from a smaller city where our guards could compete. And I don't remember ever once in the history of everdom as an AAU player coming from a smaller, city having to play against these big cities. Ever once did I go, oh, good. Oh, good, we're smaller. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, guys, we got a great advantage here. We're all shorter than the guys that we're going against. I don't ever remember thinking, oh, that's brilliant. That's great. Now we're going to be able to use our speed and our shooting to our advantage. The fact is, it's just a lot harder. The problem with small ball is it takes 3 times the effort and 3 times the execution to get done. You can win that way, and especially if you have guys like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson in their prime, or Steph, Klay, and Kevin Durant in their prime. But usually it's just harder because it takes 3 times the effort, 3 times the execution. You can't miss your shots. You're going to have to hit your shots, and it's just easier on an average basis for a taller team to be able to not have their best effort and still beat you simply because they're bigger. There's a reason that for, the 100 years we played this game before, other than the last 5, people went with size. Offensive rebounds, as the USA gave up 18 versus Lithuania, I will tell you, as someone who consistently played on smaller teams, is one of the most deflating things to go through when you go through all that effort and everyone does their job and you get a defensive stop and then some ding-dong just gets an offensive rebound simply because he's bigger than you, not because you boxed him out perfectly or anything else, and he kicks it out to a shooter. It almost always seems to lead to an open 3, especially at the professional level. It is without question, and in my opinion, the most deflating thing that can happen to a team, as even the article called it paper cuts. It's just a death by 1,000 cuts. Every offensive rebound, every defensive rebound you can't get are the ones that you do get take Herculean efforts. Every time that you're in position and a guy's able to just jump above you and lay the ball up or hook it over you or do whatever because he's simply taller than you, every single one of those just knocks at your confidence, knocks at your energy, and it just is a death by 1,000 cuts. Small ball is not just stupid, it's unnecessary. Look at any good team right now in the NBA, not named Golden State, and I will show you a team that has a good center. Suns have Ayton. The Celtics just traded their point guard for Kristaps Porzingis, addressing that they were also in the small ball world and decided that wasn't a good idea. You got Milwaukee with Giannis and Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis. You got the Lakers who just re-signed Anthony Davis. You got the 76ers using and clinging to Embiid and telling James Harden you can go wherever you need to go. The Sacramento Kings look like the best up-and-comer, a lot because of Sabonis. This idea that you need a shorter guy to do what big guys can do was a 2 to 3, maybe 4-year thing, and it has already been just pushed out. It's an outdated thought. There are plenty of 6'10 and above guys who can do what a 6'6 guy can do offensively, whether it's shooting, passing, moving the ball, being able to switch on pick and rolls, who can also protect the rim, who can also rebound, who can also block shots to where you don't have to hit your shots all night in order to win a ball game. Team USA is just about to find this out the really hard way if they don't do something about it, as they already found out against Lithuania, and it might lead to us losing another gold medal, which is, let's all face it, is a huge embarrassing thing when we lose at basketball, and it won't simply be because of lack of talent. It's going to be because of this king over here, this, King Kerr, and his just concurring that the only way to win is to play a bunch of short people. It's going to bite us in the ass, and I told you so, and I've said it 1,000 times. I hate short people. Small ball is stupid, and he can kiss my ass. But it bit y'all in the ass now. Now, though, it's the world's problem. Y'all get to deal with this, too. He's going to do this until they lose. He does not care. He does not care. Got fired up about that, didn't I? Sorry. Been kind of shot out of a cannon all day. How about we just go ahead and watch some videos and then we'll call it a day, huh? Let's relax. Let's take it down.
You seen it? Don't look at me. Don't look at me, little puppet.
Have you seen this? Have you read about this?
I get too into this stuff, man. I get all antsy in my pantsy. So let's go ahead and watch some videos, whether they're funny, whether they're sad, whether they're cringeworthy, or anything in between. I like to react to these at the end of the show and just kind of Cleanse the palate and woosah, serenity now. So always go to my YouTube channel, Tricky Guy Sports, in case you're listening on just the audio, and you can ride along on this bonus feature with us. Where should I start? Let's start with some easy ones. This kid tried to win the race, and he did, but was it worth it? He won the race, but it just cost him his face. Yeah, I got you, buddy. Oh, I win. And I'm dead. I mean, you won. You know, sometimes you got to sacrifice to get that W, man. Sometimes you got to sacrifice your body to get that win. Oh, God, his head smacks that door so flippin' hard. Oh, yikes. Buddy laughing at his ass like, hey, he won the race, though, man. He did win the race. That was a fun one. Let's see what else I got here. Oh, this is good. Kind of in the same vein. Well, let's do this one first. Let's do gender reveal gone wrong. I think they said this was gender reveal. It might have just been a backyard baseball game going wrong. Either way, poor lady needs to scoot back a little bit. Ready, honey? Ooh, right in the kisser. She clearly got a little cranky at the end here. Let's see that one more time in instant replay. 1, 2, 3. Ding dong.
That didn't go well. That's a YouTube fail. Are you okay?
You okay? You okay there, Karen? No, I'm not okay. She screams at the end. I love the scream. So that's an interesting one. This is a good one here because I really don't feel bad for people that ask for trouble or ask or take unnecessary risk, and end up learning that it's not usually the brightest thing to do. This looks like this came out of like Africa or like some third world country somewhere, and clearly wanting to be a thrill seeker, and it clearly went wrong. Some ding-dong tries to jump a car, and yeah, I'll just go ahead and play it. So you know when guys in movies sprint the car and try to jump it? Dead. Jesus Christ. I mean, you know, obviously he wanted a crowd. He's got the bright yellow stuff on. He's like, yeah, I need everyone to, all eyeballs on me, man. Watch me do my thing. Watch me. I'm Usain Bolt. Man. Better bolt your ass to the hospital, man. Jesus, why pick a hatchback? Did anyone have like a nice low-level convertible? You know, maybe a sedan. The hatchback has got a little bit higher clearance there for one, but I just don't think he timed the jump right. If I'm being 100% honest with you, so he's dead, but he'll be missed. What else do I have here? The woman hit in the face. Oh, I'm going to do this one. Just because, yeah. I don't know what this lady's talking about. This is from some game somewhere, and I'd really like to know. Just going to leave it at that. I would really, really, really like to know. What is she talking about? We're going to guess opening a Coke bottle. I'm going to start with that. I'm going to guess that she's talking about opening a Coke bottle. Talking with her girlfriend. As it... Yeah, I got to see that again. They're saying explaining how to open and drink a cold bottle of water. Is that what you think she's talking about? Is that what she's talking about here? And the water just rushes down your... Friend seems very enamored by her description of the water bottle. I mean, this must be a Fiji water bottle or something expensive because it seems quite refreshing. The face she makes as she explains how when the water cleanses your chest area, it's just so, so wonderful, such a wonderful feeling. Okay. Don't know what game that was from, but I'm a little pissed I didn't have tickets. Just saying. I could use some water. I'm a little parched. Could use a little cold, refreshing beverage to just... Moving on. What else? Oh, this is fun. This is an interesting... Okay, so... Just in general, as I do podcasts, obviously they're not live, but even if I do live, I'm instituting a rule that I've never really had to worry about in radio because they didn't ask for these, but I'm going to go ahead and institute it now. I will never do birthday shout-outs, ever.
Happy,
if I ever go to a live stream of this, never, ever am I doing a birthday shout-out, ever in the history of everdom, because you guys that ask for them are ruthless a-holes on the internet, and I am with you. I am also 13 years old in a 40-something-year-old man's body, but absolutely ruthless. You guys cannot help yourself when any poor live broadcast just tries their best to be nice and say, hey, give us a birthday shout-out, and we'll shout you out on the air because the internet's undefeated, and we're a bunch of jerks. We just have to take advantage of it. I had played this a couple weeks ago, but in case you missed it, this was a famous one where the Cowboys announcer had to wish a happy birthday to Drew P. Huevos.
Is a big Cowboys fan. Can you wish him, Mr. Drew P. Huevos, a happy birthday?
This is great.
Mr. Drew P. Huevos, happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you watching all of us here at Ken's 5.
So that was one I had brought you a while ago. This one, unfortunately, is even worse. You know, this is actually funnier, sadder, somewhere in between, and a hell of a lot worse than Drew P. Huevos. This was from a podcast somewhere, and you'll notice the girl's eyes when she realized exactly how this went wrong. This is why I will never do birthday shout-outs on my live podcast. So shout out to Drew P. Huevos or shout out to Nick, and I'll just go ahead and play the rest.
And happy birthday to Nick Kerr, if you're watching. Someone in chat wants me to say that. Happy birthday, Nick Kerr. All right, we do have also honorable mentions. Yes.
You guys are assholes, man. You guys are assholes. I mean, clearly she did not realize it until the second time she said Mr. Gurr's full name that she realized exactly what was going on here. And I'd see if I can pause right when her eyes light up, because you can tell when she went, oh no, I done messed up.
And happy birthday to Nick Kerr, if you're watching. Someone in chat wants me to say that. Happy birthday, Nick Kerr.
And there it is. There is the look I am looking for right there. The realization of, oh no, this podcast is going to go viral for all the wrong reasons. This is exactly why I will never, ever, and I'm putting it in stone, allow for anyone to say, hey, give my friend a shout out. Because it's so easy when you're going live to not pay attention. There's a million things going on, and things like this can slip. And the next thing you know, you got that face. You got that face because some troll on the internet had nothing better to do than to ruin your life and to maybe ruin your career and get you canceled.
And happy birthday to Nick Kerr, if you're watching.
Hurts every time.
Someone in chat wants me to say that. Happy birthday, Nick Kerr. All right, we do have also honorable mentions.
And again, as you noticed, the redhead was not paying attention. She had no clue what was just said, that a racial slur was dropped, that anything, wrong had happened here. Everything was fine. Happy birthday, Nick. So no shout-outs. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Especially anyone named Nick or Droopy. What else did I want to get into that might be fun? Oh, I'm going to end on this one. Because this is just life, man. This is just life. And I'm going to call it a day. Yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard to, get through and do what you got to do every day. It's hard to always see the right way, and then you struggle for no reason. Does anyone else feel that? Found this video, and I'm just going to go ahead and talk about it. This is basically, I like to speak in metaphors. I'm going to call this a metaphor for my life. You ready? This is basically a metaphor for my life. Anyone else feel like this when sometimes you could have just hit reverse? You could have easily gone down the path of life, but no. You just couldn't do it. You just didn't want to listen. People told you, like, hey, man, just go reverse. You don't need to do a full U-turn here, buddy. Just hit the R, glide down the hill. In the hill of life, all you had to do was that, and you're like, nope, no, I don't feel like it. I want to go forward. I want to go this way. I'm going to go this way, so I'm going to turn. I'm going to do a U-turn. I'm going to do something impossible for no goddamn reason other than I'm just stubborn and I feel like it. And I'm going to almost fall again and again. Look at how close this guy is to just almost, I don't know if it's death. It's at least a bad day. Anyone else feel like you've just been like this your whole life? That you just can't listen? That no matter what people tell you, like, bro, just stop what you're doing. Like, just go back and do it the easy way. No, I don't feel like I don't want to do it. And kiss my ass. I want to go this way. I need to turn it around. Sometimes you make it. Sometimes you don't. This guy somehow was able to get this miracle done. Still unbelievable to me that he actually, I mean, that car should be, his head should be somewhere in between the glove compartment and the front axle. Yet somehow, because of determination and everything else, this guy was able to turn it around and get down that hill. That's all I'm going to say. Hopefully you too can get down the hill, even though all you had to do was hit reverse in the first place. Maybe you'll stay off that teeter-totter and make it all the way down. I'll see you next time. Love you.